This is the Tyler Morgan Show on Relentless Daring Media Network. Welcome to the land of bourbon and bad decisions. This is the Tyler Morgan Show live on Twitch TV. Little slow getting started. Trying out Twitch's stream, their own thing that they have going, and it kind of failed me on the audio side, so I went back and started all over on an entirely new app. So, yeah, those of you watching on Twitch or, catching it live later on, that's the reason why it was being silly. But before I get started, I have to tell you about the wonderful, wonderful people at aprcoffee.com. And the reason why I say I have to tell you about them, well, they're not paying me. So it's not a paid advertisement per the podcast carrier. But I do have to tell you that it is absolutely amazing coffee at APR. Tonight, I happen to be drinking a little bit of the Docks on the Roof, $20, same as Downtown blend. I think that's what it's called off the top of my head. I really can't tell. But this is a tribute flavor that was made after our friend Doc Thompson was tragically murdered at the hands of his arch nemesis, Amtrak. This is one of my favorite blends because not only does it taste great, well-rounded flavor, every bag there is a picture mosaic of Doc. I mean, hundreds or thousands of pictures of Doc that go to make up the main picture on the back. So, well worth the money, great flavor, and it just helps keep the memory of Doc Thompson alive. If it was not for Doc Thompson, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. If it was not for Doc Thompson, no one would really know who APR Coffee was. So, me and Dave Matthews both owe a huge debt of gratitude to Doc. Now, Doc did not personally have a hand in this show. However, when he died, I'd been contemplating, maybe I should, I don't know. And so when he died, I felt Doc would kick my ass if I didn't go ahead and go through. So, yeah, I help honor Doc's memory by drinking the Doc's Bacon Blast, and this is the Doc's on the Roof. So, again, Doc Thompson, good night wherever you are. On Young, now you go home. And American Pride Roasters, historically, great coffee. All right, so getting into all the shenanigans. Yes, shenanigans have been afoot at Mar-a-Lago. If you have been paying attention to the news at all, you have noticed that there was a records recovery. All the air quotes. A records recovery done at Mar-a-Lago because Donald Trump had papers that he wasn't supposed to have. They wasn't supposed to take from the White House when he left. Although it has been ruled in court that the president has the final say on what is a presidential record that must be preserved by the National Archives and what is a personal record that he wants to hold on to for when he opens the Trump Presidential Library, Casino, and Golf Course, possibly on the ruins of the Trump Casino in Atlantic City. But I'm just speculating there. I don't think there's any odds that Donald Trump would actually do that, as much as a crazed narcissist as he is. I think he just wanted to hold on to stuff. Now, there's so many shenanigans afoot Really need to figure out how to get the chat box set up into the stream. Kim said something funny. I think the bugs around Mar-a-Lago are screaming, "Raid!" If you're under the age of 30, you probably don't get that reference. But cartoon cockroaches, which oddly enough, there's a bunch of cartoons that really seem to be running the show at Mar-a-Lago. For instance, now I don't have the story in front of me. I've heard interviews with her. Trump's attorney got to Mar-a-Lago as fast as she could because she did not have a heads up that they were going in. Secret Service found out about it 10 minutes prior to. Yeah, that's right. The FBI neglected to inform the guys who are responsible for protecting a former president, his wife, and his children, or probably just his child, since only Barron, as far as I know, lives at home. So they didn't get the word until 10 minutes prior. Staff at Mar-a-Lago, when served with the warrant, while Donald Trump was mysteriously out of town, they called his attorney. She got there. They'd already been there for about 10 minutes. She was not far from there. And the FBI was going out of their way to do everything to keep her from being able to see what was on the warrant. She couldn't even get a good look at it to verify that, yes, indeed, this is a warrant signed by a judge, signed by, or notarized by a clerk in the courthouse. So there's a lot that they didn't know. And when they hold her 10, 20, 30, 40, up to 50 feet from what's going on, they will not let her go, okay, let me see what you're grabbing. That's an issue. Now, don't get me wrong. They don't want people just being all willy-nilly in their business while they're trying to, retrieve evidence. However, certain things, it would be nice to have a record of, besides just, well, we're going to give you an inventory of what we took. Because that's basically all they did, is they took an inventory and said, all right, here you go. Of course, the thing with the inventory is there's a lot of non-specifics in there. Kim says the FBI were quite interested in Melania's undergarments as well. I don't know I didn't know that was in the warrant as well. I will touch base that because the warrant was unsealed late yesterday. And you want to talk about achieving a blank check. That's what this warrant was. It was a blank check to search pretty much anywhere that staff of Donald Trump, whether it's his personal staff, whether it's house cleaners, whether whoever. So anywhere it's possible that they can go, anywhere it's possible that Donald Trump goes, including his personal spaces, his bedroom. If it was a storage area or anywhere that anyone had access to and they could hide documents, the FBI was allowed to go in, except for guest rooms. Because Mar-a-Lago is a resort, a very expensive resort. There are high-paying customers there. The FBI didn't want to disturb them. But keep in mind, back in June, 15 boxes of material were recovered from Mar-a-Lago. And that was 15 boxes that had been gone through with a representative of Donald Trump probably his attorney, or there's another attorney present, as well as a representative from the National Archives, as well as an attorney for them, so that way they can hammer out details. Okay, this one, okay, it can go. This one we want to hold on to. Because, again, ultimately, the president is the person who decides what is a presidential record and what is a personal record. They freaking kept a Post-it note. They kept knickknacks. And the FBI left with the Post-it notes and the freaking knickknacks. And at the end of the day, 11 boxes of classified material were taken from Trump this time around. Now, considering, again, Donald Trump had been working with the National Archives, had been storing these documents, how they said to store them, behind a door with 2 locks. They took a storage room and they moved these documents, some that were going to be taken at a later time, that they hadn't gone through yet, stuff that had been cleared by National Archives that, yes, President Trump can keep as personal documents. All of this stuff was stored in this room with 2 locks. Now, the FBI could have just said, hey, they could have just got a subpoena and said, hey, we're going to come and we're going to take these documents, or, hey, you're going to bring these documents to the courthouse by X time, or else you're going to be in contempt, and then we will issue a warrant and we'll just go take whatever we want, which was possible. That was 100% an option that the FBI could have used. They chose not to. Because they wanted the show. They wanted the showboating. Just like when they sent almost like an HRT type team after Roger Stone. When the last Trump guy was arrested and he was handcuffed through an airport, they could have just said, hey, we're issuing an arrest warrant for you. We need you to turn yourself in, or else we will publicly arrest you. That's usually what happens with, persons of a certain degree of influence. They just don't grab guys literally at the airport and haul them off when, there is some importance of some kind. The whole idea is dumb. Just like the idea that they need to go in and spend almost 10 hours going through Mar-a-Lago looking for stuff. Now, here's the thing. The fact that they were probably told by the National Archives, hey, here's where these documents are kept. Did they need 10 hours? And at the same time, these classified documents, there is a guy who works in the White House. He is the final authority on if something should be classified or declassified. He's the guy who took them from the White House because he's the president. Now, if there's something that he did not do, like paperwork that he didn't sign, okay, you kind of screwed up on that one. It is what it is. Just go on about your day. But if he has the records showing that, hey, this classified stuff is hereby declassified, and Donald Trump admits there was stuff that, as president, he had a standing order. There were certain things that even though they were classified, he gave them an exception as the president, because he can do that. So that way he could take his stuff, take his work material to the presidential residence in the White House. Because this is a guy who, he went to bed really late. He got up at like 3 a.m. So, yeah, there was stuff that he wanted to be able to work on in, the personal residence, the private residence, that, he didn't want to be sitting down at the, in the White House skiff, going over it at whatever time. Again, that might be a little on the reckless side. I mean, obviously there are those who are opponents of Donald Trump who feel that way. But then again, I'm pretty sure he's not the only president who's done it. Because, if you have a president who could be called at a moment's notice, wouldn't it be nice that they could have the ability to, have the materials with them? And there's been all sorts of reports of leaks. Not even the actual, actual stuff of, hey, here's what was recovered. Just rumors and innuendo. Mostly spread by the FBI. That he had the nuclear launch codes. No, he didn't. Because the nuclear launch codes kept in that briefcase, which is no longer even carried by the president, it's carried by a Secret Service agent. And, there were some great memes coming out about it. They found the nuclear launch codes. The combination to launch nuclear missiles was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the same combination as my luggage. It's like, yeah, people make Spaceballs references. You can never turn down a good Spaceballs reference in my life. Kim points out that Obama kept documents no one raided him. No. However, almost a year after Obama took the records from the White House, that 31 million individual documents, and, I'm going to store these for the Barack Obama Library. Yeah, the National Record, or the National Archives did step in and go, wait. You just can't store these in a abandoned furniture warehouse. We're going to put armed guards and say that we took it back. So technically, while Barack Obama has not returned any documents to National Archives until the Obama Library is built and he can move his records into the library, they are held under lock and key at that warehouse by the National Archives. And I know there's a lot of people talking, under the Presidential Records Act, Donald Trump should be prosecuted. Do you know that since the adoption of the Presidential Records Act, there have been exactly, cannot split hairs one iota of a bit, 0 presidents charged with violating the Presidential Records Act, again, because it's not the National Archives. It is the president who ultimately decides, okay, is this something for the public interest that at some point I want to release in my library where they can see it? Or is this a document that should stay in the National Archives because it is, whatever reason, the president doesn't feel that it's necessary to keep with him in the presidential library because I signed a glorious bill. Glorious bill is going to rename 5,000 post offices in the country to the Donald J. Trump Memorial Library. Spectacular, tremendous, tremendous. Now, even though this is tremendous in the best sense of the word, the best words, I don't want to take this with me. No, will not take it with me because it's so mundane. Now, this sticky note that I wrote on, this tremendous note, tremendous. This tremendous note, it will be displayed in the most beautiful, spectacular display inside the Trump Presidential Library and Golf Course and Resort, Atlantic City, New Jersey. I mean, that's the kind of stuff Donald Trump, he would not take the most mundane thing. Barack Obama, if he sneezed into a Kleenex, he kept the Kleenex. The Clintons tried to take all the furniture, and they tried to take all the china. They took all the W's off the keyboards. Kim, the Donald Trump Presidential Library, Golf Course, and Resort in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Tremendous, tremendous. It's going to be huge. It's huge. It's going to be the biggest, the bestest, the most beautiful presidential library you've ever seen. It's going to make that guy Reagan look like he has a shack for a presidential library. Tremendous. Just tremendous. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And I haven't even touched a single news story that I printed off about any of this. And I'm sure I'll get to it here eventually because there's a lot of stuff to get to. It's just I've been venting. But it's really nuts though that we would see a president. I mean, imagine if Donald Trump had gone after Barack Obama. If he had Bill Barr go after Barack Obama the way Merrick Garland is going after Donald Trump, people would be crapping their pants. Oh my God, look what he's doing. That Donald Trump is a fascist. It's funny because 2016, that's the kind of stuff I said Donald Trump would be doing. He's a vindictive, angry fart. He's going to be a fascist. He's going to have a heavy hand in everything. Although, really, when it comes to the running of the executive branch, I wish he did have a heavy hand. Wish he'd come in, fired every son of a gun that was a holdover from previous administrations and replace them. Not with sycophants. No, not with sycophants. But with people who are like, you know what, Mr. President, I'm going to be square with you. I call balls and strikes. If I see a crime, I don't care who it is, I will do what I have to ensure that prosecution. If I see someone who is not involved with anything whatsoever, regardless of how dirty they look, we investigate, we can't find crap, they're going to be let go because I uphold the law. That's what Donald Trump needed in place. Instead, he had an AG. I don't remember who. He was that spineless, that feckless, who just ignored him. He had a Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, who was like, I know what the president's guidance is, but we're going to we're going to uphold the status quo established by the last administration. And then he was fired because, what do you mean you're not going to follow my foreign policy agenda? It's abso-stinking-lutely nuts that all this has gone on, and no one has really done anything about it. And so now we have an AG who was spurned, not by Donald Trump. No, not by Donald Trump. He was spurned by the one, the only, the turtle, Mitch McConnell. And because he was spurned by McConnell, because Mitch McConnell wouldn't even give him a hearing when he was nominated for the open Supreme Court seat at the end of the Obama administration. So now he's taking it out wherever he can. And so he's aiming for Donald Trump. That's just how it is. And, of course, you have to be careful who you criticize, because a person like Merrick Garland, he's Jewish. So apparently anytime I have a criticism of Merrick Garland, it's not because of a policy, it's not because of decision, it's not because of poor management or mismanagement, it's because he's Jewish. As Steve King of Iowa has noted, it's like, well, I take back every bad thing I said about Merrick Garland, because I recently found out that he is Jewish. And as I found out when commenting on George Soros, he's Jewish. And so the only reason I comment on Soros is because I apparently hate Jews or something. So I take back every bad thing I ever said, because, yeah, we can't be doing that. So, again, it's like, where does the line stop? Where are people allowed to stand up for what they believe? Since when is a president not allowed to decide what is, their documents? When is the president not allowed to decide what is classified and what isn't? Because, again, ultimately, at the end of the day, as has been proven and declared in courts repeatedly, such as when the National Archives wanted Bill Clinton's secret tape recordings. They sued the Clintons for those National Archives sued for those recordings, and the judge said, those are the president's. He can decide if they are his or not. It happened with Nixon, because the National Archives wanted the secret recordings that Nixon did with people in the White House. And ultimately, it was the Nixon family, the Nixon estate, that finally, just a couple years ago, released the last of his secret recordings that he made in the White House, because, yeah, he was that weirdo. He just wanted to record everybody because he was so stinking paranoid. Oh, my gosh. It's really crazy. It's insane. But there could be some good news around the corner. Could be. I'll have to get to it. I will get to it in just 1 second. All right, so getting into things, yeah, if you're watching live or listening and something just went, okay, just play the bumper music twice. If there's not a commercial there, there's a reason why I put the bumper music there twice. Play me out, play me back in. It makes sense, trust me. But like I said, there is currently an ongoing attempt to rectify the situation. I say attempt because it's not going to go anywhere. I hate to be cynical, but I've been watching politics for way too long to not be cynical. But let's see. On Friday, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Green of Georgia announced that she had filed articles of impeachment against Attorney General Merrick Garland as the FBI search of the former president's Florida residence roils Republicans. So Green's resolution claims that the Attorney General's personal approval to seek a search warrant for the raid on the home of the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, constitutes a blatant attempt to persecute a political opponent. Now, Kim says, oh, maybe you could have an intermission screen with dancing dumpster fires. If I can find one of those, I will use it. The search warrant was approved by a federal judge and was unsealed on Friday after the Justice Department and Trump's attorneys agreed. Which, it's funny, they say the Justice Department agreed. You don't agree to something when you're ordered to do it. That's right, the same Obama funding, Donald Trump bashing judge who signed and sealed the warrant. He told the FBI, listen, you have until Sunday afternoon to unseal the warrant, or I will do it and charge y'all with contempt. Guess what? They unsealed it. That's where you start seeing some of these lists, like the inventories that were taken. You know, again, why they had to spend all that time in Melania's closet, I'm pretty sure they were just sniffing around in there and not finding anything. Just I apologize for that bad taste of humor. No, I don't. If you didn't like that joke, I don't care. Kim says, I wonder what kind of perks the judge got for the warrant. Yeah, like maybe instead of just being a magistrate judge who is not appointed. So, all right, this is one of those things that people are getting all crazy about. Now we'll go back to the news story. A lot of people are freaking out online. Oh, you can't say it's an Obama judge. He got the seat in 2018. So that means Donald Trump put him there. No, because he's not a circuit judge. He's a magistrate, meaning the circuit judges they sit around and they go, okay, we need some people who, while we're in the middle of stuff, they can sign off on warrants. They can, do certain things with the authority of the court. Handle small things while we're handling these big cases, these big decisions. So they have magistrates. I'm smacking my mic around like Steve Dace being all mad at Tim Scott. Check that episode out on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet. It's great. So this magistrate, who, again, he wasn't appointed by Trump in 2018. Nay. He was recommended to the post of magistrate by the circuit judges who sat around and, hey, do you think this guy should be a magistrate? I ain't got time for this. I have a tea time to get to. Yes. And this they vote him in. So it was not Donald Trump who put the magistrate judge where he was. It's a guy who, oddly enough, after cutting a deal pardon me, after cutting the deal that helped Jeffrey Epstein only do a couple months, 4 months, I think, of county jail time. Then turned around to represent some of the people on Epstein's staff who were granted immunity as a private practice attorney. So he literally played both sides of the fence on that little incident. That same judge who was then picked by his fellow circuit judges to fill that vacancy. That's kind of odd, but who am I to judge? So this judge, he orders the FBI, all right, guys, come on. Give it up. Well, it's not us that's holding it up. It's Donald Trump. Donald Trump won't release it. It's a spectacular warrant. It's just the most beautiful warrant, the most well-written, the best words. Tremendous, tremendous. However, I think it would be spectacular, just tremendous, if you go ahead and release the warrant. Let people know what you were taking from my beautiful home at Mar-a-Lago. Let them know what you were doing there, because I was meeting with the National Archives, and they said the extra lock on the door was tremendous, just absolutely tremendous. China. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump just gets me all wound up. But anyways, the search warrant had been, released, blah, blah, blah. The warrant showed the FBI secured classified materials that were taken to Mar-a-Lago and suggests the former president is being investigated for possible violations of the Espionage Act. Yeah, that's right, because, again, he had the launch codes. He was going to give them to the Chinese. Or maybe the Ruskies. Which, it's craziness, which, again, some of the funny reactions to stuff going on with Donald Trump was perhaps someone said, oh, look, they had pictures that he was seeing a spy from China. It was a picture of Fang Fang. It's like, oh, apparently he could do things with his tiny orange hands that Eric Swalwell could only dream about if she was with Donald Trump. Just saying. Republicans, including Green, have repeatedly accused the Justice Department of going after Trump for political reasons. You think, Margie? Her resolution claims that Garland's effort to unseal the search warrant for the home of former President Donald J. Trump constitutes an attempt to intimidate, harass, and potentially disqualify a political challenger to President Joseph R. Biden Jr. The White House said Biden had no knowledge of the FBI search. I mean, Joe Biden's the guy who literally shook hands with Chuck Schumer. Puts his hands down. 2 seconds later, hey, Chuck, you didn't shake my hand. And I'm not kidding. Take my words to Biden. You didn't shake my hand. And just looking lost in the sauce. So they could have told Joe Biden, hey, boss, you're on Wednesday. We're going to go raid the former president's house. Just want to give you a heads up. That's fine. Where's my pudding? And where's my pants? Have you seen my pants? I mean, they say he didn't know. I really don't put it past him to not know. As opposed to Merrick Garland, who initially said he had no clue what was going on. Not one hint that this was going to go down until he came out on Thursday and admitted that, yeah, I'm the one who signed off on that. My bad. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. And frankly, I don't see things going particularly well with this administration. You know, for the next, 2.5 years, waiting on January 20th of 2025. I see it all being downhill. And it's just ridiculous that we just keep getting played over and over and over again about the same stuff. You keep seeing me drop off camera, trying to find a news article I accidentally set on the floor. I kind of need it for the last little bit of the show here before I wrap it up. The whole "you can take my word as a Biden" thing, that tell me something people say when you know they're lying to you. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking, man. It's the truth. Give you my word as a Biden. You have my word as a Biden. Well, here last week, Joe Biden may have lost a pretty, I'm not going to say important endorsement, but it's definitely an endorsement that looked good to have. The National Black Farmers Association, which, well, I might not agree with all the political views. They do work on behalf of black farmers, and they were very excited about the kind of racist-y policy of giving money to farmers who were minorities versus all farmers. But, well, imagine being the guy who signed in that law that is currently being challenged, and then being the same guy who repeals that law. Yes, that's right. That is why the MBFA is mad at Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., because he gave him something, gave him a lot of money, then turned around and repealed it. NBFA President Boyd releases official statement on President Biden's withdrawal of support for black farmers. From Boydton, Virginia, August 9th. After fighting for debt relief for over 3 decades, Boyd was elated when the emergency relief for farmers of color was passed, signed into law by President Joe Biden last year in the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Boyd met with Biden during the SC South Carolina primaries to discuss the plight of black farmers, and it was agreed upon that Biden would address black farmers' issues. Again, last July, 2021, Biden reaffirmed to Boyd he would have a FaceTime meeting with him to discuss the ongoing struggles and delay of America's black farmers getting the long-sought-after debt relief. What could be worse than having another president to overturn legislation you enacted to help black and other farmers of color during a pandemic? Repealing your own legislation to take it away while they are being served foreclosure notices in a recession with the highest record of input costs in 40 years, while sending hundreds of millions in aid to Ukraine farmers. Holy run-on sentence, Batman. The Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, Section 220008. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Section 22008 repeals the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, Section 1005. which provided Black, Native, and other farmers of color debt relief. I'm very, very disappointed in this legislative action, he said in response to reading the final bill passed by the Senate. I'm prepared to fight for the debt relief for Black, Native American, and other farmers of color all the way to the Supreme Court. I'm not going to stop fighting this. Didn't a court already rule that giving debt relief to one category of farmers and not all farmers? Isn't that kind of racist-y and illegal? Just a thought. Discrimination at the USDA against Black farmers was rampant and severe. Section 1005 Loan Repayment Program was a necessary step towards fixing those harms. To acknowledge and correct racism is not unconstitutional or racist. Again, if you're only helping out certain people and not everyone who got screwed by the USDA, because, let's face it, there are people who don't make good financial decisions of all colors. It happens. A farmer gets a USDA-backed loan and then, they lose a crop. They have a bunch of cows die. For reasons they cannot make this loan payment. That doesn't have anything to do with being preyed upon because they were Black. Doesn't have anything to do with they were preyed upon because they were Hispanic or Native American, Asian. Although if they're Asian, they're probably not getting anything anyways, because we all know how the left treats Asians. If they're not locking them up in the internment camps, they're saying they're too damn smart and not letting them get away with anything because they're white adjacent. Again, if that ends up on media matters, oh, that'll make me so happy. He said things about Asian people. But yeah, at the same time that Joe Biden is bragging about all the stuff he's done for people of color, oh my God, they got me saying it, for Black people, Hispanics, Asians, Middle Easterns, everybody who is not, shades of white. He put in this program to help them out and then turn around and delete it. Now, are you saying that was one of those things that was causing inflation? Since it is the Inflation Reduction Act? Come on, Joey. Let's have some consistency here. But then again, this guy, very upset because free money has walked away. Now, I'm not opposed to people getting money back from the government that was taken from them under threat of imprisonment. I want people to be able to be like, hey, hey, government, you thought you played me? Guess what? I played you. You're going to give me back some of that money that I paid out the nose last year because, hey, you said I owed it, so I paid it. I'm fine with that. Taxation is theft, especially when you have the taxation that's, I earned an income, it was taxed. I took my previously taxed income and I bought stocks. And then I cashed those stocks out after they turned a profit. Well, now I have to pay a tax on that as well. Or, hey, I'm selling these stocks and, cutting my losses. Oh, you had a slight increase. You had a slight increase of value before you cut bait, so you owe taxes. The car that you bought, the car that you drive, you pay fuel taxes with your taxed money. You took your taxed money and you paid a sales tax for that car. You have taxes upon taxes. If you make a significant amount of money and you plan on leaving it to your kids, the federal government wants to take so much of it that if you have land, property, farm, whatever, yeah, I'm going to have to sell that just to be able to, pay the taxes. It's ridiculous. So, well, I don't like the fact that these bailouts, that's what they are, they're bailouts, are going to farmers who are, not white, but you're just going to ignore the white farmers who are having the same problem for the same reasons. The whole idea that government has to hold the hand of Hispanics and blacks and all these other groups, because it's a ridiculous argument. I've pointed out many times before. That is what you call the bigotry of low expectations, believing that an entire race of people are incapable of figuring things out. Black people can't get IDs to vote. Therefore, voter ID laws are racist. Well, why do 80% of black voters support, not hate, not fight against, support photo IDs for voting? Like I said, just the insanity is absolutely mind-boggling. Again, we have a dementia-ridden president who, for better or worse, is our president until somebody else says boo. So again, thank you for showing up again this week. If you are listening on demand on your favorite podcast app, go to the ratings section if it has it. I know there's a few of them who don't do ratings, but hey, it's cool. I can't hold that against them too much. Same thing to ask you every week. The same 4 little things. Number 1, please subscribe to this show. Number 2, after you have subscribed, please rate it 5 stars. I'll accept 4. 3 and below, we need to have a little chit chat. Once you have shared it, once you have followed it, subscribed it, once you have rated it, please write a review. That's thing number 3. Write a review. Tell people why you like the show. Embellish some. Not a lot, just enough. Then, click that submit. Let people see what you think. Great. Once you have done that, then number 4, please share this episode with someone who you think will go, wow, this guy gets it. Share it with somebody who you think will go, this guy I can't stand him. Because they'll get mad. And when they get mad, I get another set of wings. I've got like 87 of them. People get mad, I get wings. Oddly enough, they're all old, decrepit wings. I think I get them when angels die. I don't know. I haven't confirmed that. Really weird, though. So, again, thank you for listening. If you care to support this show financially, you can go to the coffee link in the show notes. You could donate there. You can do a one-time donation, do a recurring donation, either or, whatever floats your boat. Or you can go over to patreon.com, over at patreon.com/Tyler Morgan Show. I made it easy for you. There you can subscribe, and they have 4 different tiers. Lowest tier, $5. That gets you bonus content. It gets you, there's a whole list of it there. Just go check out, the show on Patreon. I have a couple of my extra shots posted. I will be doing one a little bit later this evening about that one school, even after Loudoun County had its issues in Virginia with transgender bathroom use. Yeah. Another school is playing the oops, I did it again, and voted to allow transgender boys into the girls' bathroom. So we will check that out on the I want to call it the overtime, the extra shot. So again, if you're hanging around for that one, you want to subscribe to Patreon so you can get those, by all means, go ahead, please. All of the money that comes in from donations, buying merch, Patreon, it goes into doing things to keep all of this up and running. Or more stuff on the wall behind me. Either or. Again, thank you so very much for listening. And as always, stay relentless.
The Tyler Morgan Show is a Relentless Daring media production. The Tyler Morgan Show is supported by its listeners. To support the show, go to ko-fi.com/Tyler Morgan Show to donate there, or relentlessdaring.com and hit the donate button at the top of the page to set up your donation. All music used in the Tyler Morgan Show is used with permission from purpleplanet.com, link in the show notes. 2 Timothy